Hello, you guys. Let's talk about simple interest today. Now, a few years ago, my students started calling this the I-party equation. I equals P times R times T. So that's why I put the Party City there. So it's kind of fun. Just think of I-party, and you'll be able to memorize this. Okay, but you have to know what all the letters mean. So the I stands for the interest. Now, interest can be the money that you owe if you borrow money and need a loan. It could also mean money that you earn, like if you have a savings account at the bank, they pay you a little bit of money to use your money. Now, the P stands for the principal, and the principal is the amount of money that you start with. And the simple interest formula is the I-party. I equals P times R times T. And then the annual interest rate, the R, the rate, is always given to us as a percentage. And to figure out the balance in your account, you would take the interest plus the principal, and that would give you the balance. Now, the only other letter that I didn't talk about was the T, okay? So you want to cross out the compound interest because we're not going to do that. And I want you to put the word time in your note-taking guide. And the capital T, we always want it in years, okay? So here's what's really important. Use your red and put the word note. If they give you the number of months, we have to put that number over 12. And that kind of makes sense because there are 12 months in a year. Okay, so remember, we're going to talk about simple interest, and I want you to think of the story, like Party City, because I equals P times R times T, I-party. So I want you to please write this example in your note-taking guide. You get a $1,500 gift, okay, and your bank pays simple interest of 2%. How much interest do you have after 5 years? And the second question, what is the balance in your account? So let's start off with the formula I equals P times R times T. And let's plug things in. So we want to figure out the interest. So put I equals, and then for the principal, that's the amount of money we start with, the $1,500, times, and the interest rate is the 2%. So put the 2% there. And then times the number of years. Okay, the time is 5 years, so I'm going to put a 5. Now, a fast way to do these that works out really well is if you make everything look like fractions. So I'm going to write the 1,500 times 2% times 5 again, but watch what I do. To write 1,500 as a fraction, I put that number over 1. To write 2% as a fraction, remember, percent means per 100. So put the over 100 and then cross out the percent symbol because you took care of that, and then times 5. Now 5 is years, so anytime they give me years, I put it over 1. And then I look for where I can cross cancel. Well, look at the 1,500 and the 100. See how they both have 2 zeros? Well, that's like dividing by 100. So 100 divided by 100 leaves you with 1, and 1,500 divided by 100 leaves you 15. And then I just multiply. 15 times 2 is 30, and 30 times 5 would give me 150. So I would get 150 on top, 1 on the bottom, and of course 150 divided by 1 is just 150. So that answers the first question. That's how much interest I have after 5 years. Now, to get the balance in my account, I have to take the interest that I earned and add it to the original amount I started with. So the balance equals 150 plus the original amount, the 1,500. And that would give me $1,650 in my account. Okay, so let's talk about example 1. Let's say we're taking out a loan. So we borrow $2,500 and pay a simple interest rate of 3.5% per year. How much interest will I pay after 30 months? So take a look here. I'm going to use the I-party. I equals P times R times T. So I'm going to plug stuff in. The principal is the amount I started with, the $2,500. The R is the 3.5%, so I put 3.5%. And the time is 30 months, okay? So to make everything look like a fraction, I have to put 2,500 over 1. And then to get rid of that percent symbol, put it over 100 and cross out the percent symbol. And then 30 months would be 30 over 12. So now I wrote it here, 2,500 over 1, 3.5 over 100, and 30 over 12. Well, I look for ways that I can simplify and cross-cancel. Look at the 2500 and the 100 and divide both of them by 100. So cross out those zeros, and that leaves you with 1. Cross out the zeros, that leaves you with 25. Now look at the 30 over 12. I could divide both of those by 3. So 30 divided by 3 leaves me 10, and 12 divided by 3 leaves me 4. So when I multiply, 10 times 3.5 will give me 35, and 35 times 25 gives me 875 on the top, and 4 times 1 times 1 gives me 4 on the bottom. Now, I need it to look like money, and this is a fraction, so I'm going to use the in and out trick. So put the 875 on the inside and the 4 on the outside, and put your decimal and add a couple of zeros. Now, I did all the division here for you. You need to copy this in your note-taking guide. So that would give you $218.75. So the interest would be $218.75, and in this case, that would match B as in boy. Okay, so take a look at example 2, finding the balance. Mowing lawns. You earn $500 mowing lawns. You deposit the money in a savings account that pays 4% simple annual interest. Find your account balance after 6 months. So let's use the I equals P times R times T and to find the interest, and then we're going to figure out the balance. So I know the principal is how much money we started with, the $500, so I put that in for the P. The R is the annual interest rate, so that's 4%. I put that in for the R, and the T is time. And remember, time is 6 months, so I put 6 over 12. So I make everything look like a fraction. 500 over 1, the 4%, put it over 100 and cross out the percent symbol, and then 6 over 12 because there's 12 months in a year. So now I wrote 500 over 1, 4 over 100, and look at how I reduced. 6 over 12, you guys should know, is 1 over 2, 1/2. And so now I look for ways that I can cross-cancel. 500 and 100 I can cross-cancel. I divide by 100, and that leaves me 1 on the bottom and 5 up here on the top. And now look at the 4 and the 2. I divide both of those by 2. So 4 divided by 2 leaves me 2 on the top, and 2 divided by 2 leaves me 1 on the bottom. And now I just multiply all the numerators. So 5 times 2 is 10 times 1 leaves me 10 on top, and then 1 times 1 times 1 leaves me 1 on the bottom. So I know that my interest is $10. But now they want to know the balance in my account. So now, to get the balance, I have to do the principal, the amount of money I started with, plus the interest the bank paid me. So that would be 500 plus 10 more dollars for the interest. So my balance in my account is $510. Okay, so let's look at guided practice number 1. They told us that the principal was $1,200. The R, the annual interest rate, was 3.5%, and they want us to find the interest earned after 18 months. Okay, so I use I party. I equals P times R times T. So I put in the $1,200 for the P, the principal is $1,200. The R is a 3.5%, and the amount of time is 18 months. So I put 18 over 12. Now make everything look like fractions. So I put 1,200 over 1. And then to make the 3.5% a fraction, I put it over 100 and I cross out the percent symbol, and then 18 over 12. So now I start to reduce. So 1,200 and 100, I can cross out those zeros. That leaves me with 1 and 12 on top. And then look, I can cross out the 12 up here and the 12 down here. So 12 divided by 12 is 1, 12 divided by 12 is 1. And I just multiply. So 1 times 3.5 is 3.5, and 3.5 times 18, I showed my work over here, show your work in your note-taking guide, left me with 63 on top, and 1 times 1 times 1 is 1 on the bottom. So the interest would just be $63. Make it look like money. Okay, take a look at number 2. The principal is $650. The annual interest rate is 5%, and they want us to find the account balance after 54 months. So I use I party, and I'm going to put the $650 in for the principal. I put the 5% in for the annual interest rate, and I put 54 over 12 for the time. and then make everything look like fractions. So that's 650 over 1. And then the 5%, put it over 100 and cross out the percent symbol, and then 54 over 12. So now I showed my work right here, how I was simplifying and reducing. So look at, with the, let's see, I simplified the 5 and the 100. I divided both by 5. So 5 divided by 5 gave me 1. 100 divided by 5 gave me 20. And then I saw a 0 in the 20 and a 0 in the 650, so I canceled those out with my green pen. And then I reduced 54 over 12. I divided both of those by 6. So 54 divided by 6 left me 9 on top, and 12 divided by 6 left me 2 on the bottom. So now I multiplied. 65 times 1 is 65, times 9 gave me 585 on the top, and then 1 times 2 is 2, times 2 is 4, gave me 4 on the bottom. Now this does not look like money, so you have to do the in and out and show your work. You can do that over here, all right? And then make sure you get $146.25. So that is my interest, but that's not what they wanted. They wanted the balance. So now to get the balance, you have to start with your principal, the amount of money you started with, and add the interest you earned. So that would be 650 plus the $146.25. So when you add that together, the balance in your account would be $796.25.